shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Matty Fight Talk. UFC Fight Night just went down yesterday between Alexander Volkov and Jairzinho Rosenstriuk in the main event. Co-main event was home to Dan Ige taking on Movsar Evloev. I'm pretty sure I'm messing that up, but regardless, both fights are pretty good. The fight card is actually pretty impressive. The first three fights on the main card were first round finishes. Dan Ige ended up losing to Evleov by a 3-round decision. And that fight was very interesting because Dan Ige, you know, he's been having a little bit of a rough stretch. He's 1-4 in his last 5. I mean, he really needed to get this W to stay in the top 10, but he's probably still going to be in the top 15. Dan Ige has some nasty knockout power, but Movsar, however you say his name, definitely showed some high-level skill set for that division. That dude is going to be a fucking problem. He neutralized the power of Ige. He was landing some nasty strikes, and he implemented some solid ground game. The dude is extremely well-rounded, and he's proving why he's undefeated, man. That guy looks like he's a tough fight. He's a pretty decent-sized dude for that division. Anybody in the top 10 featherweights that this guy faces, he's going to be a real problem for them. I'm very curious to see who they match this guy up with next. I think a very interesting fight for Evloev. I keep messing his name up. Sorry, guys. But anyway, a very interesting fight I think would be in the top 10 for sure for this guy. It would be like a Giga Chikadze. That would be really fun to watch, or somebody, you know, along those lines. That would be an interesting matchup for these guys. He's calling out Arnold Allen, which I also think would be a very good fight. So either way, whoever they set this dude up with, I mean, it's going to be fireworks. The dude's showing some solid skill set. I mean, he pretty much controlled the fight. Ige landed some pretty good strikes in the second round. But, you know, Dan Ige, I mean, I'm from Hawaii, man, and I love all Hawaii fighters. Got nothing but respect for you guys. But he's looking a little bit one-dimensional in the upper echelon of the UFC. I mean, it seems like if you avoid his power, get him to the ground, wear him out, he really has no answer for that. So I want to see Dan Ige bounce back from this loss, man. Every time this guy fights, I really hope he gets the KO victory. Movsar, he's a tough fight for anybody. I mean, Dan Ige did what he could do. He tried to go for the KO. He tried to get some knockouts. He tried to get some solid strikes in, but he just ultimately wasn't able to land too much heavy strikes. And the wrestling is really what got him worn out. He ate some big bombs early, and then he got taken down and controlled for the most part. Movsar Evloev, I'm going to be struggling with this name for a while, but regardless, he's 16-0. He's definitely going to be moving up the ladder in featherweight. That's a guy you guys definitely want to check out if you haven't seen him fight yet. I've seen this is like the second or third fight I've watched this guy in, and he's pretty freaking awesome to watch. And in the main event, Alexander Volkov took on Jairzinho Rosenstriuk. I was really excited for this fight because, one, I'm a big Alexander Volkov fan, and Rosenstriuk, you know, I didn't really think he was a big deal when I first watched him, but the more I watch him, you know, I realize this guy's a banger, dude. He goes in there and tries to get the finish every time he fights. He's exciting to watch, at least for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, he goes in there and he tries to get the KO. So I respect that. I've become a big fan of him as well. I wasn't really going one way or the other in this fight because I like both guys. I wanted to see somebody get knocked out, which, you know, if you watch the fight, you got to see. So the first round was pretty interesting. You know, they kind of filled each other out for the first little bit that was going on, first couple minutes, and then Rosenstriuk just came in with a flurry of bombs. Didn't really catch Volkov clean. Volkov ended up landing a nasty straight right, put Rosenstriuk on skates, and then came in with a flurry of punches. Rosenstriuk, you know, he didn't look like he was being seriously damaged. I mean, he got wobbled hard, but a lot of guys do in the UFC. So regardless, Herb Dean steps in, stops the fight, and the big controversy now is, you know, was it an early stoppage? Should they have let it go on? I don't know, man. Herb Dean, he's notorious for, like, second-guessing himself, so I'm glad he at least went in and full-on stopped the fight. In my eyes, I think Volkov, you know, was just going to keep pouring it on him, and if you're being told to defend yourself and you're not defending yourself, yeah, I mean, what do you think the ref's going to do? They're going to step in there and stop the fight. Because some of these guys, man, they're so fucking well-trained. They'll get cracked and just keep getting cracked, and they won't drop. They'll just keep eating punches. So, I mean, in the long run, I think Herb Dean did the right thing because you're saving Jairzinho from any unnecessary damage. But at the same time, he could have let the fight go just a little bit longer because you got to think, you know, when Pat Barry fought Chet Congo got dropped like 2-3 times solid, looked like, I mean, clean KO punches. They let that fight continue, and Chet Congo came back and got the fucking knockout. So, I mean, you know, you could have let Rosenstriuk go for a little bit longer because he didn't look like he was in that serious of trouble. I mean, regardless, safety of fighters is probably the most important thing. So I understand where Herb Dean's coming from, but as a fight fan, you know, moments are made in those kind of situations. Somebody's hurt. They're not dropping. You know, they're covering up. Yeah, he's trying to defend himself the best he can. And, you know, I would let it go for a little bit. If he got dropped again, obviously step in. But, you know, I think it was a tad bit early on Herb Dean's part. But like I said, dude, the guy's notorious for second-guessing himself. So in his mind, you know, he has to step in there. And if he thinks this fight's over, it's going to be over. You know, the ref's in there to save you from yourself. I don't agree with it necessarily because I do think that Rosenstriuk still had some fight left in him. Because once they stopped the fight, he didn't even look like he looked like he recovered from the initial straight right that hurt him. So I'm kind of disappointed. You know, I wanted to see that fight play out for at least a round because it would have been interesting to see how that would have went if Rosenstriuk was able to get off the fence, get you know, recover, and then start throwing back. I think we would have seen a pretty good firefight. But at the end of the day, you know, Herb Dean stopped the fight. So it's a first-round TKO victory for Alexander Volkov. And both of these guys are kind of in an interesting situation. They've both been losing, winning, losing, winning. So, you know, the top two in that division, top three, it's rough fights. You know, you got the champ, Francis Ngannou. Then you got Cyril Gane. Then you got Stipe. John Jones is now in the division. Tai Tuivasa is making big headway. Derek Lewis. So, you know, there's a lot of competition for these guys. I mean, them moving up into the title shot, probably not likely the case, considering that Volkov just lost to the Aspinall. So, regardless, I mean, it's a good win for Volkov. It's always good to be in the W column. But as far as moving super high up to get a title shot, I don't think these guys are close. You know, I think they're going to still have to put in some work. I would obviously, if I was Volkov, I'd be calling for the biggest name fight I could get. You don't have too many years left as a fighter. You know, he's been in the game for a while, so I'd be trying to get the biggest fights possible. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did you guys think it was an early stoppage by Herb Dean? And what did you guys think about the Dan Ige fight? Do you think Movsar is going to be the next top contender at the featherweight division? I'm curious to see what you guys think. But anyway, thanks for watching my video. Hit me with a like. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel for more content. Thank you.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an